And hello, friends. We are back to our crazy ways with another 24-hour readathon, the first of the new year. I'm really excited. And so this month we are reading Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. I think that's how you say it.
That was my husband. I'm sorry.
So this is the first book in the, what's the name of the series? The Seven Waters. Yeah, the Seven Waters series. It came highly recommended by our very own Yolene from Yolene Reads, who hopefully will be joining us in the chat. She may already be there. Oh, Maza's here.
Hi, Maza. Maza, when are you going to join us?
Ladies of the High Court, you know it. But it's actually High Ladies. Oh, wait. Court of the High Ladies.
Or is it that or is it Council?
Council. That's it. Council of the High Ladies.
We still need a better name.
That's the one.
I don't think you can get any better than that. Hey, Steve. So, Steve, are you going to read Daughters of the Forest with us?
I think he's going to bed. He has a author interview, I think, at 7 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Ooh. Oh, yeah, I did see that on this calendar. Yes, Masa, hi, ladies. We're high, as in
well, I'm not.
The hierarchy.
I might be drunk,
of
but
things.
High on something.
I won't be high until after we get off the stream, so.
When you take your sleepy time gummies?
Well, yeah.
I
fall fast.
Hi, Anne. Thanks for joining us.
Reckon.
Oh, Gunmetal Gods.
Oh, so Steve has the Gunmetal God. So I did buy that when those books went on sale, but I haven't started it yet. But Steve had his review sounded very interesting, so I might have to jump on that soon. Yeah, I've had one of those months. I've read so many books, but like the last few days, I'm like, I'm done. This is the only book I'm reading the rest of this month.
Oh,
Raul,
I miss you.
Yes, we don't see him as often anymore. He's busy with his own channel.
Oh, I've got mine up and running finally.
You do?
Yes. Yes, I saw your first video.
When? What? Hold on. I'm not. Hold on 1 second.
It was Discworld.
Yeah.
What's your channel name?
Deary's read it before.
Oh,
because since my stroke, I can't read new stuff. I've just been reading stuff again and again and again.
That's awesome.
So I thought I would share.
I love it. This was it. The Daughter of the Forest was new for you, though, right?
It was. I did start early, and I finished it actually a couple of days ago because I didn't know how long it would take me. Because I have to really work at taking in new books, and you guys are in for a really, really good read.
You liked it?
4-star read for me. Yeah,
well,
I really did.
That's awesome.
I don't feel as bad because I have to tell you guys I started already.
So don't feel bad because I kind of started too.
Am I the only one?
I try to start so I could keep up with you guys. That's my strategy.
And we are reading The Daughter of the Forest by Juliet Marillier. And but you do not have to read this. This is just what we're reading for the 24-hour readathon. You do not have to read that today while we're doing the reading sprints, but you can. It is available immediately on the Kindle. Just go shell out some money for it, and you can read it with us right now.
That's what I did. I wasn't gonna do it because I ordered a copy, not ordered, but I was gonna borrow a copy from my library, but it wasn't ready. I was like, I'm gonna buy it.
I got lucky. I found this at the used
You will read it again.
Yeah, that's what I mean. This group hasn't steered me wrong before, so.
Well, I can think of a couple that might. What was that?
Oh, really?
Magic Bites. That was
Magic Bites. Oh,
That
that
Okay,
was-
but we thought.
Daniels.
I mean, it was
but
okay.
nobody read that before, so we were basing our expectations on somebody
on
who
romance.
doesn't
Yeah.
know us that well.
Ah.
This is Yolene said this was her favorite book of all time, so it can't
Oh,
possibly.
well, yeah.
be bad.
Every time Yolene says, though, it's
Yeah.
always been good.
Yeah.
That's why
So-
I'm addicted to Robin Hobb right now.
I don't want to talk about it.
About Lily.
Mhm.
Yeah, Amanda, I can't wait to see your thoughts. I hope you're going to be at the show. I guess next weekend, right? It's next weekend because
Are you all right there, Ashley?
Nope, I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm traumatized. Okay.
Not too far
Oh,
in on
okay.
still.
you still have to finish it, Brandy.
I've been trying to read it, but I've had other stuff that I'm trying to finish. Like I just finished The Hobbit today.
You
I listened-
cheater! We were supposed to read that together.
I thought you already read it.
I
I'm sorry.
have, but I was rereading it with you.
Well, it only took me a day. It was so short, and I listened
Yeah.
to Andy Serkis.
Was it good?
So good.
good.
All right. Well, I won't feel bad jumping on it right away then.
Yeah,
'Cause I've
you'll
been waiting.
get through it fast.
Yeah,
It was
I'm gonna
good.
listen to all of them. I'm not gonna read them this time around because I just want to hear him do the audiobooks
He's
Are you
good.
talking about The Hobbit?
and the Lord of the
Yeah.
Rings. Yeah,
Lord of the
he does all 4 books. So I'm really excited.
I know it was hard not to jump right
It's
into
so
the
good.
Lord of the Rings, but my daughter started it too, so I wanted
Oh, wow.
to start it with her. Yeah,
That's
she's
great.
excited
That's nice.
about. She's obsessed with the movies. So
Well, they are brilliant.
They are,
Same.
and you're not just saying that because they were filmed in New Zealand, right, Derry?
Not at all. I have even been to Hobbiton.
What?
That's seriously my geek highlight. I got to go to where they filmed the Hobbiton, and it's still there as a set. And
Oh my goodness, I would be there
just
every day.
oh, so good. Like these little paths all of the way through the gardens that lead to like the washing line or the water pump, and like it looks like the hobbits have just gone away, but they could be back any second. And at the
Oh my
end of
god,
the
that's
tour,
so cool.
they walk you down to the Green Dragon Inn, and they only had to build the facade for the movies, but they built the whole inn, and they brew beer and cider there. So as part of your tour, at the end of it, you get to go into the pub and have a beer or a cider, but they've decked it all out like it's a Hobbit's pub. There is furniture.
Do they come in
everywhere. There's
pints?
like a bag of knitting. Yeah, big pint like in wooden mugs. It's so amazing. There's like help wanted ads from other hobbits up the posts in the back of the bar. You know, have you seen my wheelbarrow? Return to,
Oh
I
my
don't know,
goodness.
Jim Proudfoot. It is just the most amazing thing. It blew my geek
I had a good
mind.
one.
I had the best day.
Steve, let's go. Let's go to New Zealand.
Right? Oh, yeah.
You guys,
It was
Steve,
Somebody will have to.
Airplane tickets to.
did you see?
so
Ashley's
many
already
hours.
booking her
So
plane.
many hours.
We are
Steve
not
wants to-
sponsored by Kayak.
He wants to pick up the 24-hour readathon book for April or May. Did you see
Who
what he
wants
said?
to? Steve?
Did you
I
see what
don't
he
know.
said in the comments?
Oh no, I didn't. I missed it. What did he say? Here, let's see. When are we having a tour?
Okay.
Oh,
do
that's
I want to go to
right.
Wellington?
I tell you what,
Or-
the Wellington airport has a giant golem coming in the windows
Yep, that's the one I want to go to then.
and a giant eagle when you get past customs.
So, do we have
Very
to
cool.
read this soon, or can this wait till October? Steve?
That would be a good one. Darian's
It's
a
a
little
very-
freaked out. It was I don't know when that came up. We were having a talk about something.
It was when I told you guys to come to the live stream with the title of a weird title of a book, wasn't it?
Was that when that
Ah.
one came up? Yeah,
That's a weird title.
So Anne is reading The Other Emily by Dean Koontz. I don't think I've read that one. I've read a lot of Dean Koontz, but not that one. Is that one of his newer books? Because I haven't read anything new by him. Amanda says that she'll be at the Lily stream.
that's what I'm doing, Amanda. I'm doing that. I'm just like,
I finished it a lot faster than I intended because I was also honestly trying to space it out because I'm like, once I read this, it's, we're not going to get anything for, probably 6 to 8 months, which isn't that long considering.
No.
But it was so good.
Daniel, you're out there.
You're watching. Oh,
you
Yolene's joined us.
Are you talking about my next future, like my future ex-husband? Is that who you're talking about?
Your future ex. You already planning on marrying him and then divorcing him.
And then divorce. And then I might marry him again just for the hell of it.
I'm sorry that you're not feeling well, Yolene.
And I have already finished, and I did love it. I thought it was really good.
Well,
so I'm going to be reading another Dresden book.
Oh, that's right. You aren't going to be reading this with us today. You're going to be reading Dresden?
Yeah.
Which one are you on?
As I say, only because I finished. I'm on, it's 7, I think, Deadbeat. But yeah. But only because I finished Daughter of the Forest before I thought I would. I thought I would still be reading it. But, sorry. It actually started to get so super good toward the end, I couldn't stop. So, yeah,
are you considering reading
much faster?
Are you considering reading more in the series?
Yeah, I'm looking at probably trying to get one new book in a month because I do have to work at them. So it'll probably be maybe May or June before I get to the next one. So. But yeah, I do want to because it was just so lovely to, it was just such a great retelling of a story that I kind of knew from when I was a kid. And yeah, it was really good.
Oh, I had no idea it was a retelling of something.
I've heard that, but I don't recognize this fairy tale. So, Derry, can you tell us a little bit about?
I mean, at its barest bones, it's an old, I think it was the Grimm brothers, the 6 swans, and the family is cursed. There are 7 children, 6 of them are boys, 1's a girl. The stepmother is a wicked witch. I'm just trying to think about the old fairy tale rather than the new book. The stepmother is a wicked witch. Stepmother, and she basically curses all of the boys to turn into swans, and the daughter is made mute and she can't speak until she finishes weaving shirts for the swans, and she can't talk to anybody. She can't make any noise at all or the curse will remain forever, and she has to weave these shirts by hand, and she can only see them like on the, I can't remember if it was in the fairy tale when it was, but she could only see them on specific nights. And yeah, and of course there's always drama that's getting in the way of her finishing the shirts, and but that's the fairy tale. It is, how does she get to the point where she can get the shirts made and get them to her brothers and break the curse. So it was.
Well,
it
if
was
she
just
had a craft room like Ashley's, she'd be done.
She would have finished way faster. That's for sure.
Have it done in 24 hours.
Yeah, it'd be totally sweet. No worries. No, I mean, I just remembered it being a charming fairy tale. So to read it in this sort of Irish setting with almost like a real world history feel to it as well was just really lovely. It was so
I'm
good.
excited. Yeah, I'm honestly going into this blind. I don't know anything about it.
I was getting kind of in the first couple chapters that I've been reading so far, I was getting kind of Celtic vibes. So yeah. I like it.
So speaking of fairy tales, Mazza said we should buddy read Fairy Tale by Stephen King in September.
Oh, that's
Is that
the
when
new
it
one,
comes
isn't
out? Yeah.
Maybe.
I
It's going to
will
have
too.
animal companions. Are you sure? Oh,
Yeah.
oh my god!
That's it. I'm
usually
in.
pretty down for an animal companion.
Steve says he'll
Steve
do it.
Stephen in? Cool.
Ooh.
I'm overloading on Stephen King these days, and it's been really good.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been reading a lot of Stephen King. I read like 5 Stephen King books this month.
Wow.
They
Which
weren't
ones have you read?
they weren't small. I read Hearts in Atlantis, which was I loved. And then I read Everything's Eventual, which is a collection of, I think it's got like 13 or 14 short stories. And some of them there were a couple that I just really didn't like, but most of them were really good. And then
He is good at short stories.
yeah, I did Salem's Lot and Wolves of the Kala. I feel like there was another one in there somewhere.
Wow.
I can't remember. So yeah,
Just in January?
yes.
Jeez, girl.
Wow. That's a lot for you, Brandy. That's heaps.
Well, I'm trying to I want to get all these little inside things when I'm reading Dark Tower books. So I'm retroactive reading. Amanda has a cool video and I think kind of like a cool list. I found another cool list too, telling you what books to read before you read certain Dark Tower books. Well, of course, I'm already like, I don't know, what book is Wolves of the Kala? Book 5?
5.
Yeah. So I'm having to go back, but it's not. I mean, I'm still getting the effect. Like I was so glad I read some of those before I read Wolves of the Kala because I would have missed so much. Yeah, Little Sisters of Valyria. That's the Roland story, and Everything's Eventual.
Oh, now I gotta go read that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that one.
Because I've not read any of those or the Dark Tower, but I've read the big chonkers of Stephen King. Like I've read The Stand and I've read It, the big chonkers. And they're both in my favourite books list.
Yes, very unpopular read. They're all just saying. Unpopular opinion because everything I've read except for maybe 2 have been 4 or 5-star reads for me.
Yeah, me too, for sure.
Yeah.
I just want to say that
It and The Stand, but I love, they're great.
Someone's already rated the Fairy Tale by Stephen King a 1-star.
How? It's not out yet.
That's it. I'm not reading it now.
No, this book is only 500 pages, isn't it? 400 pages.
Really? And there's a lot on these pages.
I don't know. It was on my Kindle. That's one good thing with getting on a Kindle is you don't get that oppressive sense of, oh my God, look how huge this book is. You just start.
It's kind of small.
You end when you end. Right.
How long is the audiobook? I got the audiobook too.
So did I.
Ooh, the audiobook's 26 hours. Yikes.
The audiobook.
Okay, yeah, that's quite long.
I was listening to some of it tonight. It's pretty good.
Nice.
The Stand was the
I'm
best
glad you
book
liked
I
The
read
Stand.
last year. So I'm reading The Stand.
I don't know that I want to read it now.
Yeah, I read The Stand a few years ago, the unedited version, and Daniel Barnett said that he thinks the original cut version is better. So I had to go buy it on eBay. Yeah, and so did Brandy. Is that how you got yours as well?
Yeah, I found 2. So, yeah, it's pretty beat up and dusty because it's dusty.
So is mine.
Yeah.
Yours looks better than mine looks. Mine, I had to smash it between other books to try and get it to be it was all bent up. Everything was, but it's legible.
Yeah.
That's all that matters.
Well, that's good.
So we'll see. Stand was the first book I read. I read it. That was the first Stephen King book that I ever
That was
read.
my first
And I read that when I
Same.
was in high school. So.
Yeah, me too. I was 16.
Oh no,
I
I
was
lied.
16.
I
I
read
had just been grounded and I read it in one day. I
What a
picked it up in the
rebel.
morning and just sat in my room all day and read it.
Yeah, I was that kid when my dad sent me to my room. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I was like, that's fine. Yeah. And it and The Stand are both good audiobooks.
Yolene, I heard the audiobooks was the best thing I haven't. Oh, so is she saying The Stand is? Are you talking about The
No,
Stand, Yolene?
I think she's talking about Daughter of the Forest.
Oh, okay.
It's pretty good.
Well, I imagine it helps with the names of things.
Yes.
Yeah.
I don't recognize the narrator's name, so it'll be probably my first time with this narrator, Terry Donnelly.
No, I'm not familiar
but I
with
just
that
read. I did read the first chapter.
one.
I had planned to read more because I wanted to get a head start because I want to finish this before the end of the month. So I knew I was going to have to. I'm not going to read for 24 hours, but I just got too busy and I didn't have the audiobook. And so then I was like, oh, I'm going to download the audiobook so I can listen to it. And then by the time it downloaded, out of sight, out of mind, I was just too busy. It was like 2 or 3 hours later. I was like, oh man, I should have been listening to the audio. Does anybody feel like they've lost opportunities whenever that happens? You're like, man,
Oh my God, yes.
How many pages I could have read.
All the time. I think, oh my God, I've just been faffing around for how long and I could have had a book going. Oh, yeah, all the time. All the time.
The amount of hours that I put decorating and organizing this room, I could have finished 3 books.
See?
Yeah,
but
right?
were you listening to audiobooks?
No, I was talking to my Nana.
Oh, well.
Oh, well, hang on.
Better.
Talking
that's
to
better.
Nana is...
Memories is way better.
That's perfect. Yeah, absolutely.
I was all by my lonesome.
But she even said, she's like, if you want to put an audiobook on, that's fine. It's not going to bother me. I was like,
oh, she knows you.
Nana.
Nana might have loved Daughter of the Forest too.
Maybe. She's reading a book about Afghanistan right now.
Oh, you know what I'm going to do? Oh, I almost lost my headphone. You know that 12 book recommendations thing? I'm going to resubmit it on Twitter, but I'm going to ask for audiobook recommendations. That way, every month I'll have one audiobook that I know that if I'm cleaning or doing something, I have an audiobook selected because I've been trying to do less. Yeah. I listen to audiobooks, but I do the immersion. So I usually don't listen to them unless I'm sitting down and reading at the same time because I'm trying to get myself out of the habit of cheating. I'm not saying that listening to audiobooks is cheating, but when we're doing buddy reads, I don't want to miss anything. So, and what's happened is because I've been listening to more audiobooks and doing less reading is I've gotten out of the habit of reading. Like now when I read without an audiobook, it's almost like I have ADHD. I can't focus. I have a hard time getting into the story. And so I'm trying to cut out audiobooks. But I still need them for those commuting or, sitting in the doctor's office and
housework.
So.
Gods of Jade and Shadow
to a new
does have a really good
one on audio.
So I'm behind on comments here. Yolene, hi, I forgot I can listen to our books. I know. It's just, I get so frustrated. Sometimes, like I said, it's on purpose. And other times it's like, oh, man. Audiobooks are hard.
I can only do rereads.
On audio? Yeah.
Yeah. Because of that exact thing. I watch it and I miss bits. But if it's a reread, it doesn't make I miss bits. Because I already know.
So I don't know if Steve tried the audiobook for Gardens of the Moon, but Ralph Lister does the narration for it. He's a great narrator, but that book is one of those books you cannot listen to the audiobook unless you're following along with the words. There's just so the story is so complex. And so that was one I was like, oh, it can't be that bad. I'll listen to the audiobook. And I kept rewinding, even though I was following in the book.
Wow.
I was like, wait a second. Or I'd have to pause and go back and reread because I was like, I don't think I caught that. Or I'd have to slow it down. And it's like, what's the point?
Wow.
If I'm reading or if I'm listening at 1.2. Anyway, but it's a good audiobook. It's just not a good book to listen to, if that makes sense.
Better for a reread.
Yeah. Well, yeah, for a reread is probably excellent. Lord of the Rings was that way too. Like the first time I read Lord of the Rings, I don't think I could have listened to the audiobook. Because there's just so much lore and so much stuff that you kind of need to really pay attention to get the full experience. But now, man, Dune, the second time I read Dune was an audiobook. Maza
Does Andy
said,
Serkis do the songs?
Yes.
Oh, really?
He sings in
That's exciting.
Yep. It's amazing. It's good. Yes, yeah, I'm with Amanda. I don't miss much in an audiobook. But I do always have a book I'm reading on my Kindle so that I can read in the dark at night. Steve's sleeping. And then I have a hard copy book that I'm reading. And then I also have an audiobook always going. So I always have like 3 books going at one time. But I do a version with the audiobook. I always have the book next to me, or if I'm doing something else, or I'm reading along with it, So I always make sure I have a hard copy also. But,
I was going to ask, so I used to be the same way. Not on purpose, just the way it works out, right? Like you said, because at night you want to be able to read without the light on. But what happens if you're reading something and it's just so good that you're like, okay, I'm not willing to switch to my Kindle version or my Kindle book because I really want to read this. Do you just make Steve suffer and have the light on?
No, I have a little book flashlight thing that hooks onto my book, but it's still too bright. So what I do is I just buy the Kindle version.
Well, if it's that good, I mean, why not?
I was doing that with the Nightmare Land ones.
Oh, really?
And I probably shouldn't be reading those in the dark.
Well, it depends what kind of experience you're after.
I told you what happened to me when I was reading Lily. So I was all by myself. My son was in his room. I was in my room. My husband was out running errands for his mom. And the power had gone out. So I pulled out my Kindle to read Lily because, it was night. So I didn't have a fancy book flashlight thingy. So I was reading my Kindle version of it, and we got to this part was very suspenseful. This nightmare is happening. You're being described to this nightmare thing, and something on my bookshelf falls over, just randomly.
Oh no!
Yeah. So I got up and I went and laid in. My son was already asleep, and I went and stayed in his room until my husband got home.
Oh no. Yeah, I would have lost my mind.
It is scared. I mean, it was a jump scare. I was just like, I thought it was kind of
I'm breathing so hard right now just thinking about that scene.
It was the box scene.
Oh no! No, I'm uncomfy.
So here we got another unpopular opinion. Amanda says, I wasn't wild about Lord of the Rings. My main problem was the singing. There is too much singing. Everyone had a song for every occasion. I can't really...
I have a guilty admission. It was maybe my 3rd read before I even read the songs. I just skipped all of them.
I was going to say the same thing.
Another song, another song, another song. How long is the song in your flicking pages? Yeah. Some of them are really long.
I didn't read the singing at all my first time. And then the audiobooks, not the new ones, but the original audiobooks, I listened to the songs in Fellowship of the Ring. And by the time I got to the second book, I was, nope, I'm fast forwarding.
Just knocked out of it.
Oh, Yolene says she DNF Fellowship. I don't blame you. This is the thing. If I wasn't totally invested because the movies were coming out, so I read Lord of the Rings right before the movies were released. If I wasn't totally invested because of that, I don't think I would have finished Fellowship either.
I have to say, I mean, I've been reading them for a long time. When the movies came out and I went to see the movies, I was the biggest fan you could possibly imagine. I mean, it's in New Zealand and the movies get released. It was a big deal here.
Yeah.
And you can imagine. They're probably the only movies that I'm perfectly happy for people not to read the books, because the movies got the spirit right. Mm-hmm. And the books aren't an easy read. You actually have to really focus. There's a lot of very descriptive writing. It doesn't sort of flow properly because he just started and just wrote. He didn't have a plan. He didn't know where it was going. So it drifts off on tangents that didn't get included in the film because they didn't go anywhere. But reading it is really, it's a job. And so for people who aren't readers, it's
satisfying.
Like, well, you don't have to. Yeah. If you're a reader, absolutely. Sure, because you'll enjoy it. But if you're not a reader and you just think you should read it because the films are great, just enjoy the films. They're great. The books are hard work if you're not used to reading that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So
Steve says the pitchforks are out for Yolene because she DNF'd Wheel of Time and Fellowship. But she did at least read the first 3 books in Wheel of Time, so we forgive her.
And all of Realm of the Elderlings.
I'm not a real fan
about pretty much everything for me. I have even forgiven people for not reading Discworld because they've read Realm of the Elderlings.
I have not read Discworld, but I own Guards. Yes, I have.
But have you read Realm of the Elderlings?
I've read 7 of the Realm of the Elderlings. Not all of them, but I've read the first 7 books.
I will consider forgiving you not reading Guards yet.
I have it. I bought it. I just haven't read it yet.
Yeah. I actually think for this particular group of ladies, you probably would more likely enjoy the Witches than the Guards. But
well, see, Guards. The reason why I got it was, I guess all of his books are kind of satirical, but Andrew from Andrew's Wizardly Reads recommended starting with Guards.
It is a really good place to start. Don't get me wrong, but don't sort of be surprised if you finish it and go, okay. It just, for me, I think it appeals more to a very sort of blokey read. And I know that this particular group of ladies who I have so happily joined prefer a sort of almost like a whimsical kind of witchy kind of vibe to stuff. And the Witches are awesome. The Discworld Witches are just the freaking best. They're the best. Best ones.
Well, I'll have to go back and watch your video again because I don't remember. Did you talk about the witch one?
I haven't got to the Witches yet. My next video will be the second to last Death book.
Okay.
So I'm nearly finished talking about the Death series. And then it will probably be the Guards because that's the next first place people are suggested to start. But it's really hard talking about Discworld and not spoiling any of the jokes. It's so hard. Because I don't want to ruin any of them for anybody. Like,
how do you read these?
Without ruining them?
So, I mean, like, where do you start?
This is why I have a channel, because it's not easy. And this is why I say to you guys, it's like I kind of have to know a bit about you, and then I'm like, okay, maybe you should start here, because reading them in publication order is a terrible idea.
So what you're saying is we're doing a collab. Okay.
So I have to quickly say, in the comments, they're talking about, Yolene DNFing, and Amanda here says that she DNF'd Malazan, and Yolene is saying that she needs to actually read it because she's in a buddy read. But anyway, Amanda got me the second book in the Malazan series for the Secret Santa.
Oh,
and
wow.
I could have sworn that she meant to read the second book with me, having bought it for me. So I think that she should. I think she should un-DNF it and read it with me.
I think so.
Right? I think so.
Otherwise, how rude.
I looked into the future on that one and saw myself DNFing it. So.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. I don't think I could do it. I just
My crystal ball says that is a no.
So I want to read them really badly, but I have to train my brain for new stuff first. It's going to take me a while until I get to a point where I can pick up a book that daunting. But I do want to. I really do.
It seems like Taylor back though. If you finish this one in a couple days,
that's great.
Yeah, but I don't think that this one is as dense or confusing as the Malazan books seem to be. But, I mean, I follow lots of people on BookTube. It's there's a lot of it on BookTube, and I just think I need to perhaps work up to Malazan. So, but I do. Really
so Amanda says, "I will give it a try." It was she said it was a soft DNF. That's a good term. So soft DNF means that you might come back to it, I'm assuming. I got called really hardcore the other week because my thing is you can never properly DNF something unless you die, because the book exists at any point. You could pick that thing up again unless you die.
Yeah,
so
and
I
can still that too. I really like Yolene's take on that too. She says it's not forever. You know, if you decide, you can always go back.
That's right.
I can safely say I will never try Neuromancer again. Sorry, Steve.
Oh dear. So who wrote Cemetery Boys? Who was somebody?
Aiden Thomas. It is.
Okay.
It is it's a young adult fantasy-ish. It's about never mind. I'm not even going to do it. Anyways, if you go on Goodreads, it's a really great summary.
Right. Okay.
I'm just going to do really bad at explaining it, but it's cute.
Mazza says, Jerry, what if the book kills you?
Then that was a pretty damn impressive book.
Is it still a DNF? Because technically you would have finished if the book didn't, homicide you.
What do you
the
call
book
it?
DNF.
Call it,
yeah.
It made an impression. That's what happened.
A visible end.
All right, guys. I'm going to get the timer ready so we can do our first sprint. If I can find it.
Oh, crikey, we've been talking for 40 minutes already.
Yeah, we always do. Steve's probably like, can we do some reading already?
Well, he could just read.
Why can't I get this timer open? I can't get the timer working.
That's all right. We can just read.
So is this in the physical book?
I don't know. I only have the ebook.
This is I've got this is the ebook on my phone. It's like that's so pretty.
Oh, here, yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering.
I hope I
Any
don't lose
more
you
reading
guys.
done? We are.
The computer's.
Uh-oh. Have you tried turning it off and turning it back on? I'm going to shut up now.
Oh man, I have a story to tell you
I've been
guys.
drinking for hours.
Did I ever tell you about my Vegas trip?
No.
I thought what happened in Vegas stays in Vegas.
Well, in this case, I'm going to share. I am not a very good flyer. I don't like to fly. I'll do it, but I don't like it. And on our way into Vegas, the turbulence once we got into the valley was so bad that I got airsick, and I never get airsick. And so when we were leaving, in addition to being terrified because of that and I drank a bunch of tequila and I took 2 Dramamine. And the reason why I took the second well, the reason I took the second one was because the flight got delayed. And so I was like, okay, that first one's going to wear off and I'm going to have to take another one. So I'll just do it now. But anyway, we get on the plane and the first thing that happens is we start to taxi out and they stop. And the pilot gets on. He's like, hello, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, we have to pull back in because I'm getting an error light on my dashboard here. And I have to have the engineers come out and check it out. And so they pull back in and we wait, about 30 or 45 minutes or so. And I'm already like, ugh. My husband is not, he doesn't have any issues with flying. He had no issues going there. And, but the pilot gets back on and he's like, okay, we're ready to go. We reboot the computers and I didn't get the light anymore. So we're going to go ahead and take off. My husband's an IT person. So he's like,
oh, no.
That doesn't work. You can't just reboot the system. What happens if the light comes on again while we're in the air? So I was not all there for the flight, and he was white knuckling it because he was waiting for the light to come back on.
Oh no! Oh, that's terrible.
So it was interesting.
That's hilarious.
Talk about stressing yourself out.
See,
this we don't read.
I'm gonna start the timer now. All right, guys, 30 minutes.
All right.
Okay. So I got to page 29.
58.
Okay.
13%. I have no idea how many pages it is. It's remarkably freeing reading on a Kindle.
I am 3% into the book.
Nice.
Okay.
I love that sweater. It's so cute.
It's a onesie.
I was going to say, are you cold, honey?
Oh,
I'm freezing.
don't start the onesie talk.
It's 74 degrees in here.
I don't know what that
That
is.
is warm.
Lana joined us.
Okay, Lana. Oh, great. Oh, right.
23 degrees Celsius.
That's warm.
That's warm.
I know.
That's like my optimum operating temperature. Right now it's about 27, 28, and I'm dying.
Hello, Saf. Thanks for joining.
It's
Hey.
That's my bae.
Amanda says it's 1 a.m. It's kicking her butt, so she's calling it a night. Oh, okay. I don't
Fair
know
enough.
if you're already gone.
I ate one of these and I have energy again.
What is that? Is that a chocolate?
It's chocolates.
Oh. God, is it that time already for Valentine's? Jeez.
Almost.
Taylor read 29 pages. Taylor, are you reading The Daughter of the Forest or are you reading something else? So Yoli wants to know, are we liking it so far?
I love it.
I love it so far. It's really beautifully written.
Yes.
I'm excited. I'm in. I'm hooked already.
Yeah.
I guess you could say it has
Gorgeous,
my
atmospheric
heart.
start.
I'm enjoying it. The only thing that I'm having an issue with is because I started it without the audiobook. I thought her name was Sorsha, and the audiobook says her name different. How's it pronounced? Sorhaya or something like that?
Sora.
She says it like Sorka.
Sorka?
Yeah.
Sorha. Yeah. So I'm like,
Sorka.
I'm having trouble adapting to that. But otherwise, yeah, it is beautiful.
Mm.
And that whole part with her brother telling her about her mother's death. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Already wanted to cry.
I'm not there yet. I'm at where she just talked to her father and her father's like, I'm tired of these kids. Sends them off.
Yeah, the dad's kind of
distant.
He's
you know, in the beginning that she says, like, right in the beginning that she was supposed to be the seventh son of a seventh son, and she was born a girl. Not only that, she caused her mother's death. So we know, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to that part, right, Ashley? All right.
So, oh, that's right. Taylor says she's reading Cemetery of Boys. I forgot.
Yeah.
So, is this the so my issue is I don't really know how old she is. Is she like 14, 15? Because I thought she was really young.
She's younger. She's younger.
Younger than 14?
Yeah.
Definitely younger.
But it said, so at one point her brother is telling her that she'll probably go, her father would probably be marrying her off in a few years. So I'm like,
yeah.
I felt
we're talking about a time when 14, 15 was marriageable. So
that's true.
In a few years, she's maybe 11, 12. That's how I read how old she was.
In the first chapter, it says at that point in time, she was going to be 13 on midwinter.
Okay, so she's 12.
Okay, there you go. So she's
Yeah,
12.
that's what I thought. But
Midwinter
yeah, I guess it
times.
just threw me off because it was like he's gonna marry her off, and I'm like, and her older brother Liam is got to be in his 20s, so that's why it was like, why?
He.
See,
it
I
says
pictured Liam at
how-
about 17.
Yeah, he's like 18, or he's about to be
Yeah.
18.
I just
How
like
is that?
the
That just
fact
doesn't
that
make sense because if Finbar, oh no, Finbar's not. Never mind.
he's a little
Finbar's
older
3 years
than
older than her. Yeah.
Well, I mean, she's the youngest at 12, and there's a set of twins. So you've got 6 births. So, a baby a year, which was, kind of how it went. The oldest is going to be, 18?
I don't think this. Does this take place in the 19th century? Masa's saying.
Oh, much earlier, much earlier.
Yeah, I don't. This is kind of like
Much earlier.
when the
I would probably go
Romans were
back.
in England kind of time. Like
I would say more like before 1000.
yeah,
Because I'm
Did they
pretty
talk
sure
about-
they mention later on Ethelred in England, and we're talking maybe 1200 at the latest, I think, for that.
Hmm.
When was Ethelred king?
Yeah. Because they're still fighting the Britons, and the Britons are still fighting the Saxons. So this,
Can we just take a moment to appreciate Finbar serving wisdom to his father?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was-
Oh, isn't he awesome? Oh, so good.
I don't want to
I'm
be
liking
part of your
the-
campaigning.
I'm liking the magic.
Okay, the king they mentioned was 865 to 871. So yeah,
Okay.
it's a long time ago. Yeah, Finbar's a dude.
Yeah, I know that was normal. I mean, I know enough of history to know that it was normal to marry off that young. It's just still hard for me to read it because it's I just
But
just
that was
so,
the thing, they all died so young.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I just read this month The Winter King, which is the first book in a trilogy by Bernard Cornwell.
Bernard Cornwell, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently that's amazing on Audible.
It is so good, and it takes place about the same time period as this. So I'm getting kind of the same vibes from it, but I really think Yoli, and I know it's one of the ones that you've been wanting to read. I think you really will like it since you're so interested in King Arthur.
Arthurian.
You're so interested in King Arthur.
Arthurian.
Hmm?
Oh, I was just saying, it's so late. You're forgiven.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, pretty much,
Yeah.
Mazza. Pretty much. Yeah, plus everybody was warring, so even if you didn't die of something like, I don't know, dysentery, you could have died in one of the many wars that you might have had just defending your particular patch of forest.
Or giving birth. You're a female.
Giving birth. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can still die of that now, so,
So Yoli says the Winter King is on my TBR. I don't know what the Merlin trilogy is. You'll have to let me know if that's any good. I was not. So I'll tell you this. It is not your typical Arthur retelling because it is a historical fiction. It's not a fantasy, although it read like a fantasy to me, but it is not. You're not going to have a bunch of magic and the sword and the stone kind of things. It's as if it really happened. This is how it would have happened. Is the way that he wrote it. But I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I loved how it's Winter King is written, is narrated from the point of view of somebody that's not really involved in the myth. It's not narrated by Arthur, by Merlin. It's just this soldier. Yeah, it's just a soldier turned priest who is writing the history of Arthur. And what's funny about it is he's writing it as he's being, I guess you could call like commissioned to write this by the sitting queen. And she's heard all of these legends and myths about Arthur. And so when she's reading what Derfel is actually writing, she's like, wait a second, didn't this happen and this happen? And it's so great. It's such a great book. And I plan on reading the next one in the series as soon as I can.
Nice.
But
sounds like I
did not think I was gonna. I didn't think I was gonna like it that much, and it was recommended to me by a friend, and I was like, okay, I'll give it a shot. And he gave me the copy of the book and everything, so it didn't cost me a penny. I just loved it.
Well, that was good of him.
Yeah.
That sounds great.
Merlin Truly is not his official name. Oh, okay. First book is called The Crystal. I've heard of that. I have not read it.
Marillier, it's good.
I don't think she's read it yet. She says she's going to read it or she was going to read The Winter King is on her TBR after I finish. Or maybe she started it. Have you started it, Yolene?
And is it any good?
Crystal Cave. You
So
guys, every time we do this, my TBR gets bigger.
I know.
Yeah.
I also kind of feel like this book, Daughter of the Forest, kind of reminds me of The Bear and the Nightingale a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Like that kind of whimsical.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Especially with the...
I haven't read that yet.
Bear and the Nightingale.
It's already better?
Way better. I don't know.
Wow.
Bear and the Nightingale was okay. It just took
There's a
me
lot of
really
context.
long time to like it.
Mm-hmm.
Like the last 20% of the book. I was like, okay. I'm glad I hung in there.
Yeah, I felt the same
Okay.
way. The author of the Winter King also wrote this series about Uhtred. The son of Uhtred.
Uhtred's Last Kingdom show.
Oh, yeah. 10 books. I don't know about that.
Steve,
I don't know. That's a long commitment.
He started watching that and he kept falling asleep. I was super into it. The Uhtred show, The Last Kingdom. That's what these books, The Crystal Cave.
Okay.
No. The author of The Winter King.
No, this is The Winter
also
King. It's
wrote
written
this
by the
series.
same.
Yeah.
That's a really good show. I'm going to watch it on my own because I don't think Steve's super into it. Hence the snoring next to me. I loved it. I thought it was really good. I love Viking.
Yeah, it's more Viking. She says, she has not started The Crystal Cave yet.
Okay. Well, I
Because
just
Bernard Cornwell also wrote a whole series of like Napoleonic war books. Sharp, The Soldier Sharp.
Oh, okay, I've
it
seen
was
those.
a TV show
Yeah.
with Sean Bean. He wrote those as well. So he's a solid writer. Well worth reading.
I really enjoyed The Winter King. I thought it was so good, and it didn't. It felt like, if King Arthur really was a thing, this is how it would have gone down. Like, it felt really believable. Even though in the introduction or somewhere, I don't remember where I read it. Maybe I read it on his webpage. He talks about how there's very little real anything real written on it. Like, the only information you're find is in stories, and he went to the very, like, as far back stories as he could find to try to write this. But it's, even those are, Merlin is a wizard, and and the sword was magical, and there's just, his sister was a sorceress. but I just loved it. I thought it was so well written, and the audiobook was really good too. So I did listen to that while I read it. So that was really good.
I just added it to my TBR, both The Winter King and The Crystal Cave.
Me too. I love a good audiobook. I drive a lot. That's why I get so many audiobooks.
If you're after a more fantastical Arthurian retelling, Guy Gabriel Kay's first trilogy, which isn't rated very highly in his books, but I loved it. The Fianava Tapestry. That is such a good Arthurian retelling, but it's tied up in a whole other pile of like Celtic and Welsh and Norse myths. So the more myth stories you know, the more you get from the Fianava Tapestry. That's a good one. But with lots.
I did a lot of mythology with my kids when they were younger. Like we did the Delaire's books, like the Norse mythology one and the Greek mythology. So now that I did that, because I didn't really get a lot of that in my own schooling, but now that I did that with them, I pick up on all that stuff when I'm reading. So I'm thankful that
it's astonishing how pervasive all of those myths are in all of our fantasy. It's so great.
Yeah, and we'll be watching something or reading about something, and I'll rattle off to Steve, oh yeah, that's a Norse mythology based on, and he's just like, yeah, I homeschooled the kids. I got to do what we did. It was fun.
So many. I liked the Fianava one because it brought in the Celtic ones, which you don't often get. You normally only get the fairy side of things from Celtic tradition. You know, you get your leprechauns and your fairies and your will-o'-the-wisps and your changelings, but you don't often get their gods and goddesses and their myth culture. But they made their way into the Fianava Tapestry, and I loved that so much because it was so unusual. But I had somebody, young Jake Bishop, on his channel read it recently, and he doesn't have a rich history in myth. So a lot of the sub-stories he missed them. They just went straight over his head. And he admitted it. He said, look, I read this knowing there was stuff I was missing because I didn't have that knowledge. So I wonder if that's particularly why it's rated so low in Guy Gabriel Kay's bibliography.
I haven't read anything by him, but I've heard lots of people love his books. And he's got quite a few standalone fantasies, which is always nice.
Yeah, historic fantasies, like based on like Spain or Italy, or and he's really good.
So Yulene says I need to read the Fiona Barr series too. So many Arthurian legends that I still need to.
Yeah,
I just tried pulling up Goodreads again. I'm not doing it.
So my favorite genre before I really got into fantasy was historical fiction. I love reading about history, but in a fictional setting instead of a textbook. And so historical fantasies are just, if they're done well, are just amazing. I love them, because I'm still learning a whole new world, but I still feel like I don't want to say I'm learning something, but I just find it fascinating to think that world had existed somewhere on this planet.
These are just our oral tradition tales that were passed down for hundreds of years, finally given print form. These are the types of stories that, have come through our families for generations.
You need to read The Lost Apothecary by Sarah Pinner. I think you'd like it, Stacy.
I haven't read that. Okay.
Oh, it's so
do I
good.
get my Goodreads out now?
I heard that's a really good audiobook too.
Good audiobook?
Did you do the audiobook on that, Ashley?
No, I read it on ebook.
So The Lost Apothecary or The Last Apothecary?
And somebody said it was.
I think it's The Lost. Let me check.
The Lost Apothecary. I think it's.
I know it's by Sarah Pinner. Yep. It's such a pretty cover.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Ooh, yeah, I've seen that book.
Is it Lost or is it Last?
Lost.
Okay.
Oh.
But it's based in London, and it's like it goes back between oh gosh, I can't, like 1800s and then like modern times, and it's basically this woman going through and kind of doing PI work for a cold case, or it's so good. But she majored in history, so she uses like her history major in order to
flesh out the
Nice. It's so good.
I am all for it. Mazda says, have you read Tattooist of Auschwitz? No, because I don't want to be depressed. Thank you.
Yeah, that's the kind of thing I would look at and go, I should probably read that, but I will cry too much.
Yeah. I read Schindler's List in high school. That was enough.
Yeah.
I know my favourite historic romance novel was also written by a historian. It makes such a difference when you know they're getting the framework of the story right. I really enjoy those. It is.
I actually avoid, shouldn't say that, but I don't often read a lot of World War II historical fiction just because it's so overdone. But I will if it takes place somewhere other than England. So I love, there's some books that I've read that talk about World War II in places like Italy and Spain, things that that aren't as well talked about or written about, that are fascinating because you didn't realize the things that were going on in those places in addition to what was happening in France and Germany. So I like that, but I don't read a whole lot of the World War II in the French or German setting, just because I feel like I've read them all just by reading the few I have. I feel bad saying that, but
fiction at all. Maybe I should expand a little.
Well,
I figure I read to escape, so why would I read to make myself miserable with how horrible people are to each other in the real world?
Yolene says here that she hasn't read a lot of them yet, but she read All the Light We Cannot See. I loved it too. I did. For those of you who don't know, that book is about a girl who's blind, and during World War II, and her grandfather is taking care of her, and she lives in this little small island town. I don't know if it's an island or a peninsula, but she's on the ocean in France, and she has to memorize the whole town so she can move around without needing help.
Okay.
And it's a beautiful story about her and what she deals with during World War II, but you also get the point of view of a soldier, a German soldier, and it's so well written. It is really beautiful.
I just got on Goodreads to add that, and it's already want to read. It's already somebody probably only talked about it before or something. Yeah, it's there.
I have not read 1,000 Splendid Suns, but I've heard so many people talk about that and The Kite Runner. I might have to give it a shot. Oh, but then she says, but that makes me cry your eyes out.
I don't mind a book that makes me cry my eyes out for happiness or sadness. I like to be wrecked by a book.
I like to be wrecked as a side effect of a really good story. I don't want to read something where you're dragging the characters through these horrible events just to get an emotional response. Thank you, Robin Hobb.
Yeah, I was going to say.
She doesn't. Because you're only on book 7. There's a point.
Yes, there's a point, which is the reason why I keep reading.
Sorry, my dog's making really weird noises.
You will get to the
Maza
end and you'll
says,
be like, oh my gosh.
Maza, did you read A Little Life? Or was that Raoul that read that recently? But that's one of those, everybody keeps talking, it's so beautiful, it's so beautiful. And then you hear someone that actually tells you the truth and they say, it is the most tragic and horrific book I've ever read. And I was depressed when I finished reading it. It's like, thank you. I needed somebody to be honest with me.
To be fair, it's not mutually exclusive. It can be both.
No, it can be, but if I have to choose,
yeah,
I'm not going to pick the one that makes me depressed when I finished it.
Look, I suffer from depression and I read Hob, so there you go.
There's a good
I
amount
was talking
of hope in Hob too, though.
Robin Hobb has hope in it, though.
Yeah,
really, really does.
Yeah. So when we were talking earlier about Game of Thrones, and I was saying you probably like A Song in Ice and Fire if you like Robin Hobb. The one thing that I had trouble with is, I don't want to say there's not any hope, but you start to lose hope for the characters after a certain point in the series.
I've heard a lot of people say that. Yeah. They just were like done because they couldn't take it anymore.
I've read them a lot in that because it doesn't follow that traditional sort of these are the good guys format, it's hard to see where the balance lies as to who you should really be rooting for. Like, what is the point of is winning the throne the thing? Is being the king the thing? Is beating...
You're cutting out, Derry.
Right? As people, they're all flawed. Some of them are good, some are bad, some of them are both. It's hard to kind of attach your emotions to something to root for. You're just kind of in it.
Yeah.
I like it. It's good.
One of the things I will say is George R.R. Martin is an amazing author. And every single character, even the ones that you don't think are going to be important, they come out of the books. They are so I remember, I mean, before the TV shows even, or the TV show even came out, I mean, I could remember all the characters. And if you've seen the show, you know there's a very big cast of characters, but each one of them was
it's half of who's in the book.
Yeah. I remember the world, like where all these different people came from and how different the environments are in each part of that world. They're so well written, but they're so well written to the point that when anything bad happens to anybody, it just tears you apart. Just like Robin Hobb.
Even people you start out hating.
You start to like...
Yeah. Like there's a couple of people in the first book, you're like, seriously, you could fall into the sun right now and I would be happy. Get to the end of where we are at the moment, at the end of the Dance with Dragons, and you're like, oh my God, if anything happens, I'm going to be so gutted. They haven't changed. They haven't become different people. You've just got to know them that much more. And yeah, so well written. So well written. Yeah.
All right, should we try for another sprint?
Yeah,
sure.
You guys want to do 30 minutes again or less?
30's good.
30 minutes.
Okay.
All right. 30. Share.
I need my glasses to find my mute button.
Is anybody planning on staying up really late to finish this whole book?
No. I probably... I'm going to see how I feel after the next sprint. But I was up at like 6 this morning. So.
Oh, that's right. You were up really early.
And then
not me.
Walked around. We have a campus here that UNM, University of New Mexico. That's where the competition was. And so we walked and walked and walked and walked. So tired.
I'm
But
surprised
I'm
you're
so
still
glad
awake.
this was like a good end to a crazy week for me. So I'm excited.
I'm glad. You know what? I'm excited about tomorrow's show to talk about Ghost City Girls. Just
Me
saying.
too. Me too. That was a good one.
Can't wait. All right, I'm starting now. So see you guys in 30. Another successful sprint. I got to page 40.
I got to 68.
I got another 10% done.
Another 10%.
I'm at 4%.
What were you doing for the last 30 minutes?
I kept falling asleep.
Oh no.
Oh, honey.
I don't know if you guys saw, but there at the last part, I closed my eyes. I'm like, no. No.
Oh,
I had to go make myself tea and get a snack so I wouldn't fall asleep.
you guys. To be fair, I'm tired as well. But that's early.
So Yolene is reading Veil of Spears by Bradley. I don't know how you say the last name. Bellew. Third book in the Song of Shattered Sands. So I read the first book and I have the second one. And I've been wanting to read it, but it's so big.
Oh,
Donka.
Yeah, so, but it's on my TBR shelf, which means it'll get read
One day.
one day. Hey, Hans. How are you?
Hi.
Taylor read 26 pages.
26.
You're reading really fast, Taylor.
yeah.
Hans is
Good
low.
job.
Yolene's laughing at you, Ashley.
I haven't been sleeping well.
Oh,
But I still want to read.
Read now, sleep later.
Read
Yes.
now, sleep.
No. She's like, read now
I stick
while
my
sleeping.
Audible on with the timer.
Oh, good idea.
That's a good
Is
idea.
the timer on Audible? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And you could set
Oh, I
it
didn't
for
think
like
about
the end of the chapter. So if you're like either that or a length of time, a duration of time.
Yeah.
But it's at the bottom where it's at the bottom's a sleep timer,
I have Audible.
and then you have all these
Oh,
options.
okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's
I'm
great.
about to download it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Oh, that's what that sleep little thing is for. I've never even noticed it, really. Oh, cool.
So Hans has not been feeling well either. Everybody's got a bit of the crud going around. Well, I hope you feel better, Hans. At least it's the weekend, so you can get your rest and hopefully get feeling better quickly.
I got it.
Got it.
I got it. It's because I'm all bundled up too, because this room hardly has any AC or heat that comes in. So this is not a good environment. For
Not
me.
that cold.
It's not that cold.
Let's see, what's it? It's 43 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay, that sounds like
Outside.
it might kill it.
What?
Inside, it's 68.
Outside, it is cold AF, and I'm not going out there.
Yeah. This is cold for southern states of the United States.
I wonder what it is here.
Yeah, a lot of people have been saying that.
Outside.
What was that, Brandy?
Oh, I was just looking at what it is here, but why does my phone do... Okay, there it is. It's 28 here.
Cool.
Yikes.
Yeah, it's been really cold. Last night it was like 24.
Is it snowing? Does it ever snow? Albuquerque just in San Diego Peak.
It tries. Yeah, the mountains get a lot of snow. My dad lives in kind of a mountain town, and he got a lot of snow recently. But maybe once a year, we get a really good snow. But that didn't happen last year, though. So I don't know.
Yeah, because it all came to Texas.
We sent it over to you guys.
Hopefully not again this year.
Well, it's 20 past 9 at night here, and it's 77 Fahrenheit. It's freaking hot.
Perfect spring weather.
Yeah.
I'm dying. I am not built for this heat.
77. Oh, you wouldn't survive in the southern states of the United States.
Really wouldn't. It's been pretty hot here, though. It's been up as high as, I think I worked out, 84, 85. But we're just sort of over the hump of summer. It should start cooling down now. Please start cooling down now. Dying.
Yoli says, I usually aim for 20 degrees Celsius. I guess that's what she sets.
Yeah.
What is 20 degrees Celsius in Fahrenheit? I'm really bad with converting things. Is that like
60,
70?
68 Fahrenheit.
68. My husband keeps putting it higher and I put it down. I'm the same way. I would rather it be cooler and use blankets than to have the heat running too hot.
I've been sleeping with a heated blanket. It's cold.
Yeah, well, my kids like it at they want me to keep it at 65 in our house, and that's too cold for me. But
it's 68 degrees in here.
When my kids were little, I used to keep the heat at 80 just to because it's cold for little babies, and I had a daughter born in the winter that would not stay swaddled, so I always kept it really warm. Now they're like, Mom, please, it's too hot, but I'm freezing. My whole family is just no. So I have a heating pad.
I'm gonna use my heating blanket all year.
We were in the UK, and my mum would put us outside in the pushchair for our sleeps in the day, no matter what time of year it was. So it could be the middle of winter, and we'd be outside in the pram, bundled up the blankets, having a sleep. Could be snowing. But yeah, it was just completely normal for our generation of people. I think that's why I like to sleep in the cold.
Yeah. Well, I hear you sleep better in the cold.
Hi, Lola. She says it's 86 Fahrenheit.
Oh my God. Oh. No. Just no.
I don't know. I think I'd rather have cold.
I would rather have cold than hot, but I still don't think 86 is that bad.
Not when Texas gets like 101.
Is that 86 with humidity? Then yeah, that might be hot.
Oh, that's something to consider as well. Auckland is always really humid because you can't. Auckland is in the middle of an isthmus, and it doesn't matter where you are in Auckland, you're at most a half an hour drive from the ocean. It's very, very humid here. It's not nice.
Yeah, it makes the heat that much more unbearable. So I'll give you 77 will probably be. I'd be sweating too.
I'm not enjoying humidity. It's not nice.
I'm enjoying the winter. I really like reading all these like winter style or winter atmospheric books. You know, that really make you feel like Lily. Oh cozy. Man.
That was cold. I was cold.
I was cold too. This one's different. This one's got Daughter of the Forest it's a little bit more like a spring book.
I was thinking spring. I mean, it goes goes through the whole year, obviously, but there's a real spring feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even know why, but that's what I got.
I think it's the language, and it's the hopefulness. It doesn't feel dreary and dark like winter. It feels like the hope of spring.
There is a lot of hope in it, yeah, definitely. All that
I'm really
potential and all those
enjoying it
youngsters.
still.
Yeah, I like it too.
Do you
So
have a
how
favourite
many-
brother?
What was that?
Do you have a favourite brother?
Finbar.
I like Finbar. But you know what? Which one was it that goes to see her when she's in the when she's upset when she finds out about Liam?
Oh yeah, that was. Gosh, not Connor. Is it Connor?
Who's
Oh.
Liam?
Liam's the oldest brother.
Okay.
Then the twins.
Cormac.
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 Yeah.
Cormac.
Yeah. I like him too. But then I think the reason why the others I can't say I like is you don't get as much, or so far I haven't got any real like interactions with them. So except for Finbar.
I remember when I was at the beginning, I found it really odd to have a fairy tale told to me in first person, because it reads so like a fairy tale. It just seemed odd that we weren't talking about her and them. It took me a while to get used to it being me. I was like, oh, it took me a while to adjust to that because it's a fairy tale.
I like too how there was one part where I think it was Liam telling the story we were talking about earlier, and it switches to him in the first person.
That's where I'm at now.
Yeah. I like that. That was cool. I
like the way that I think the reason why I like Finbar is because of the way that he and I keep wanting to say Sorsha because that's the way I first thought of the name, but the way they can communicate. And I don't want to say anymore because I don't think Ashley is there yet. But it gives me like twin vibes, even though I know they're not twins, the way that they could talk to each other.
Well, the connection between all of them is lovely. That sense of genuinely feeling bound to each other, I think is beautiful. And
they're all like really close in age. So her poor mom must have been pregnant for like 7 straight years.
I always remember the phrase that Dolly Parton said once about her mother. She said, there was one in her and one on her as long as she could remember. I thought, but how many women were like that? That literally you just had a baby a year until you didn't anymore.
I know what you mean, Yolene, because I have my favorite books that I really want you guys to read, like, Shadow of the Wind. Really, if you don't like it, I don't want to know that you don't like it. Just don't tell me.
Keep it a secret.
It's okay if you don't, but don't tell me.
I struggle with allowing people not to like my favorites. Like, but why don't you like it? It's amazing. Try again.
What's wrong with you?
Yeah. Why don't you love it? It's wonderful. I'm learning.
Yolene's her favorite brother.
That's how I felt the other day. I'm gonna call us. Hopefully, Stacey doesn't get upset, but she said she didn't like Downton Abbey to me, and I think I almost had like a mini heart attack.
Yeah, I don't.
I'm like on my 4th or 5th watch.
Just like the last couple of seasons.
But I will say this: I'm not a big like soap fan either. I don't like soap operas.
Total soap opera. It's a total soap opera.
I liked the first 2 seasons a lot, I liked the third season a little bit, and then I didn't watch anymore.
No.
But to not like it at all? Oh my god.
Lana's back.
Yay!
Lana, what are you reading? Yes, it is a retelling of the Seven Swans, even though I don't, until Derry told us, I didn't even know what that fairy tale was.
It's a good retelling. It's lovely.
So I'll tell you this, I thought that this was a retelling of Snow White. I don't know where I heard that from, but that's what I thought. But it is not,
Maybe
except for the evil
7.
stepmother part.
Oh man.
I like what Yoli said here. You need to give me a reason
Seriously,
why you don't
otherwise
like
I'm
it.
like, well, read it better because you obviously missed the important bits.
Read it.
Read it better.
Yeah.
So, are the other books
But
in
then
the
I have to
series
admit
with the
that-
same characters, Yoli?
Good
Maybe
question.
we don't want
I
to
need to
know.
know also.
Oh, yeah, maybe we don't.
It might be a spoiler. She might not be able to tell us.
It's a more obscure story, but not like the sausage, the mouse, and the bird. Ha ha ha. Okay, now I'm gonna have to look that up. Ashley, look up the sausage,
That
the
one?
mouse, and the
Or are we
bird.
being trolled?
Oh, that makes me hungry.
I know. She's reading The Toll by Neil Schuster. Is that the third? Yeah, that's the third book in the Scythe series. Okay,
Oh, it's a
so
2
Brothers
series
Grimm.
finished so far. In January. Impressive.
I finished the first 2 books in that trilogy, and I decided to not continue. And
I read the first one.
I didn't mind them, but I was like, the second book felt like it had a good ending. I was satisfied with it.
Fair enough.
I mean, I could see why some people would want to know what happens next, but I was like, eh. And if I finish a book and I don't care what happens in the next book, why should I read it? Unless Lana tells me that I'm totally missing out.
This book
Fair
is
enough.
really floppy too.
I know, it's the best.
I love it.
Look at that. Look at that flop. Oh, it doesn't even stand up on its own.
Mine doesn't work.
Yours is broken, Ashley.
Seriously. Mine's really rigid.
Why is floppiness in a book so appealing? Somebody tell me.
I don't know.
Probably
It's
on the same level of watching unboxing.
I have this
videos.
one, has no flop at all. No flop. And it weighs like 7 pounds. And it's not even really that long of a book.
Maybe for the same
Okay, it is long.
reasons that Leslie goes, ooh, this one smells
This
like
has-
a forest.
Okay, but once
Okay.
upon a time, I did that and I couldn't stop sneezing for 5 minutes straight, so I don't do that anymore.
Mine
This
smells
doesn't
kind
have
of
a smell either.
I think the reason that we like floppy books is because they're easier to read. You don't have to hold them open. Once you've turned the page, it stays open.
I don't know. There's some that feels like you're wrestling an octopus.
Those are not floppy ones, though.
Those are like,
Yeah, those are the rigid ones. Or you can, get a Kindle.
Okay, so she says it's minor spoilers to tell us what the next books are about.
Don't do it.
la 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 la. I don't hear you.
Okay, Lana, I could totally understand why you would need the happy ending, but I just felt like it was a good ending. I mean, it was literally an ending. So why do I need to know anymore? I don't know. I didn't feel like it.
If you're not driven to find out more, then hey, why keep going?
Yeah, I mean, I honestly think that he could have ended it there. I could see why some people would be mad, because it's not a happy ending. But
It obviously worked for you,
It
though.
made sense. It made sense. It wasn't a happy ending, no, but it made sense. It was a good. I thought it came to a good conclusion. Sometimes the good guys don't win.
That's
I know
right.
floppy
Sometimes they
books
don't.
are the best. I just don't understand it. Yeah, that's so true.
Mm.
You know, so it's funny that he brought that up. I was just reading something. Lily. So I stopped reading the paperback and went to the Kindle version of
Can I give
it
Ashley PTSD?
because it's not floppy at all. And every time I go to read it, I was like practically putting my head inside the book so that I wouldn't break the spine.
Yeah.
You want to know how I read my copy? Steve sent it to me. And I remember Brandy talking about how he's really particular about his pages and stuff. So I read it like this. Because I was afraid I was going to break the spine. And I was like, okay, I'm going to send this back. I don't need to break the spine.
You're not sending that back. We gave that to you. It's yours.
Okay, well, I'm not giving it back.
You couldn't read it comfortably.
Yeah.
Now I can go break the spine.
If he told you to send it back, no.
No,
Lily
he didn't.
doesn't spell good.
Do not send that back. We gave that to you. Because
Oh.
what happened was he got a signed copy. And he's actually reading his signed copy. So I know.
Blasphemy.
For Ashley.
Yeah.
My copy, it's in the other room, but my copy isn't the signed copy. I guess Steve gets the signed copy. I don't really care though.
He's the
And
one
I
who
like
Seven to do.
I don't care to break like if I break the spine of my books because I really like my books to look like they've been read. So
Same.
I'm okay with
I don't mind my pages being, bent up or the cover being curled, but I don't like to break the spine. Because pulling it off the shelf and it looking like it's been read is fine. On the shelf, it needs to look beautiful.
Otherwise, you can't read the title or who it's by.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you mean like that bad? Oh. Maybe it's yeah, you can't really break the spine on them.
Lola likes hers more stiff. But she's got a funky face there, and I'm wondering if she means books.
That's what she said.
That's what she said.
I mean, we're all thinking it.
I do sniff all my books. I think that is a throwback from when ink was so strong. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
new books don't smell as good as they did when I was in school.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I would sit in the library and just
Robin Hobb farciers.
What? Yeah.
Well, see, that's not bad because they're well loved.
It's pretty bad.
That one doesn't.
Oh my God, that's actually pages.
Yeah, it fell off the shelf and pretty much exploded.
Oh gosh, that poor book.
Yeah. I cried.
Oh.
Because these are all this is the first run of mass markets.
Oh my gosh.
I cried like somebody had died.
And books in New Zealand are expensive to replace.
Oh my God, yes.
There's no way you could fold the book out so that you don't break the spine.
There is a way.
No, there isn't. There isn't. Which is the reason why we read it like this.
There's a way. It's on TikTok. I've seen it.
Thing with a gap.
If it's
Yeah,
on
everything in TikTok is real.
It's real life TikTok.
Yeah.
Poor Robin Hobb's crying right now.
I know she's not because I am the biggest fan in selling her books hard out for years. You're Brian.
So what did you do that caused you to have that punishment, Lana? That's a good punishment. I couldn't do it. I'd cry while I did it. Yeah, I know what you mean, Hans. I don't open mine all the way either, especially mass market books. All of my Robin Hobbs, the spines look perfect. But if you pull the book out of the shelf, the covers are all wonky. The pages are, it looks red. But on the shelf, it looks beautiful.
My covers are beautiful. Like there's no bends or anything on it. Never been dog-eared. But, yeah. But that's what you get
read and loved.
An annual reread for 20 years. Yeah, that one's a first edition as well.
Yolene, I hope you feel better. To go rest and feel better. I think we're probably going to start closing out here anyway.
Yeah, I'm fading, guys.
Ashley's already fighting to stay awake.
I'm going to go.
That fire.
Yeah, so we were talking about, Lana, was it you? We were talking about this book, or no, it was the book we're going to read in February. You said it was like $30 or $40 for the paperback.
Yeah, that's
crazy. Gosh.
That's crazy.
Yeah, ridiculous. It really is.
You go from front and back. Yeah, I've tried that, and it works with big paperbacks, yes. But it doesn't work with the little ones.
Yeah.
No.
You couldn't.
And certainly
yeah,
not with the big fat, 1,000-page jobs.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't finish a book I had in my TBR. That's fun.
I would be re-spinning that wheel.
So I have a challenge for myself every year where I have to read, like this year's 22 books in 2022, and I have a punishment. Also, if I don't read the books, I have to either unhaul them, or I have to read them before the end of the year. I have to unhaul them, and for every month that I don't buy any new books, I get one save. So at the end of the year, depending on how many months I don't buy books, I can save a book from being unhauled. So that's my challenge, so that I'll try and finish.
You don't buy books. If you read them and you don't buy books, does that mean you get to buy an extra book every month?
You know what? I think so.
Seems legit.
I bought far too cheap books when I was first buying books. Oh, I bet. I used to be a big time used book buyer. Save money, buy books that are used. And when COVID hit and all of the bookstores were closed, I started buying books from Amazon. And now I've just spent way too much money on brand new books for no reason. Like, used books are just as good in my opinion. But now I feel like when I buy a used book and it's not in perfect condition, I'm like,
you spoiled yourself now.
There's some books that I get from Amazon and they're like scuffed up.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, really?
I can't stand it.
You can send them back. I'm not afraid to send stuff back.
Yeah.
Because there was one Christmas, my son bought these really nice, and they were pretty expensive, or we bought it for him for Christmas. They were Witcher graphic novels, and they came super damaged. And I was just like, no, I'm sending these back because they were a lot. And
who else would get away with that?
Do you think Steve's particular?
Yeah, that's right.
My son is very.
Speaking of Steve, did he really keep that Malazan or Malazan or Malazan book, the one that was all messed up?
Yeah, he didn't send it back. He wanted to keep it.
Did he get a new one though, or is he reading the?
He got a new one too.
Of course.
Have you guys all seen it? I don't even know what he did with it.
Wow.
It was
No.
crazy.
I mean, it's hard
I
enough to
saw
get
pictures.
a range of books in New Zealand anyway, because it's expensive to ship stuff here. So you can't buy very many new, which means there's almost none used. So when I made the shift to Kindle, sort of, what are we? Sort of almost 8 years ago, it's been brilliant. I can just buy whatever I like.
Does that mean you're not going to read it with us, Hans? You're giving away your copy?
He already read it.
Oh. Well, don't tell us.
He must have put it somewhere else. It's like not good enough probably to be with his nice books.
Is it his special shelf somewhere?
Oh, I like that punishment. That was a very strange sentence.
Oh. I like
I like
that.
that.
I'm going to have to think about
You've got to
doing
go through
something
the
like
whole,
that.
what would they like?
Yeah, I like that one.
Lana, I'm not good about my TBRs for the month. Like, unless if it's a buddy read, I'm more inclined to read it that month and get it finished. But if it's just like picking books that I want to read, if there's no incentive, I would probably end up buying a lot of books for people because I am a mood reader, and if I'm not in the mood,
I think I did good this month. I did pick like 20 books this month, and I think there's like 3 I haven't read.
Only 20 books.
But I did do a lot of audio books because, again, drive a lot. But that's the only reason I can do that. So, but I wanted to really read Baptism of Fire this month, but I'm not going to get to it. It's not happening.
How many have you read so far?
Of the Witcher books, or all my
books. Mm-hmm.
Of the 20 that you.
I'm curious.
I think there's 4. Let me look.
Are you looking that up? Lola says here the used bookshops are really, I guess, don't have much of a selection where she's at. But yeah, here, ours are huge.
Oh. I think I've read way less than I thought I did. I've read 12.
That's still good.
Yeah.
Yeah, well done.
But I'm probably
It really
I'm gonna
wasn't.
finish Lily. Maybe not this week. I might finish it in February. I'm thinking I'm gonna finish this book by the end of January, and then I have a romance that I'm reading that I'm gonna finish by the end of January too. Maybe. I mean, but I gave myself 20 books to choose from.
Oh.
And then I don't feel bad if I don't read them, and then I'm going to carry them over. Not in February, because a lot of them are not romance, and I'm reading a lot of romance in February. But I was thinking maybe I would read romance and authors I love, just so I could read.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, that's good.
I want to read The Witcher. I want to read. There was another one of an author I loved. I can't remember what it was now. Stephen King, probably, because I was like, I can't not read Stephen King next month. And then, of course, Buddy reads. So I want to read more romance, though.
You've got a big TBR for romance for February?
I haven't started working on it yet. I was working on stuff for my kids all week, so now I'm free. My brain is free. I can journal and write things down. I'll let you know.
So I made mine, not very long ago. I don't even think a week ago, and I've already changed it.
Well, send the revised edition so I can read some of it with you.
Okay.
Nice.
I'll send you the revised one. I
I
only
don't
changed
make
2.
PRs anymore, except for my buddy reads. I'll make, but it got to the point where I couldn't. I would never stick to it ever.
Yeah, I know.
And
The thing
then-
is I already own all of those books, or they're available on Kindle Unlimited. So that's my challenge for this month. Is to not buy any books. Or for February, and so that's why I chose those. And then somebody posted something on Instagram, and I was like, ooh, and so I swapped one of the books out for it, and then I had to add. Well, I may not change one, so I have to read. Oh, I don't have my bullet journal. I'll send you the updated one. I can't remember.
Are you doing the buzzword challenge still?
Mm-hmm. But I don't do that once a month. I just fill it out throughout the year as I read books that fit them, so that I don't have to stick to one prompt per month. It's just I do too many challenges to do that. So, did you pick one for January that you actually read?
Yeah, it was called What He Doesn't Know. And I just typed in who, what, when, where, and why on my Goodreads list, and that was one of the only ones that came up. So then I got all the way to the end of it, and it was a cliffhanger, and it's a duology.
No.
I'm reading the second one right now.
Shame on them.
But
Shame on them.
the second one's called What He Always Knew, and it's a he. So I'm thinking if I finish it in February, it might count as February is the pronoun.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe I'll carry it over into February and cheat a little. I'm only halfway through it, so I can count February. That's not cheating.
I'm reading Neon Gods by Katie Roberts right now.
Oh, that's the Hades and Persephone retelling, yeah?
Yeah, but this one's brain. It's the same world, different gods, or the spells, different gods.
What was it called?
Neon Gods. It follows Demeter's son, the one that's good looking.
Thor?
What? No. No.
I'm just trying to, is it Adonis? Was Adonis Demeter's son?
I can't remember.
I'm looking. I think it is Adonis.
Yeah.
I'm seeing the word smut in the chat. Oh,
What?
Yes.
What? Where?
Magic of Discovery.
Lana says Magic of Discovery has fantastic smut. Okay.
How come I don't see that?
I don't know.
Oh, there it is. What is Magic of Discovery?
I don't know, but I saw on TikTok, Lana put that there were some really juicy, smutty Australian books that just came out, new releases. I added all of them.
Well, I wonder if it'll fit one of my prompts, and I could swap it out for something else.
That's some naughty stuff, ma'am. I need that in my life. Your prompts.
The bingo one?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, I thought they were kind of generic, but I just wanted something that was easy but would still be fun. So they're kind of like generic prompts.
I must have heard about it because it's want to read already.
How many want? Okay, we're gonna do a challenge here. Does everybody here have Goodreads?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. How many books do you have in your want to read shelf?
Oh no!
This is embarrassing and excessive.
Everybody in the chat, If you have Goodreads, how many want to read books do you have? Okay, I have 236.
Holy moly!
This is shameful. And I'm probably going to die before this ever happens, but it's 541.
Okay, so far Brandy is winning.
To be fair, I have
Ashley.
I will read them all.
I just want to give some context that I've had this account since I was in college.
Yours is big. Bigger than mine.
694 books.
Jeez. All right. Derry, I'm assuming yours is small, considering you think 236 is big.
I do. To be fair, because I haven't been able to read new stuff for a long, long time, I generally don't put stuff on my want to read unless it's something I'm prepared to put the work into. So I only have 61.
Good for you.
Oh my God.
But one book a month, that's like 5 years.
Wow.
Lana has everybody beat. Lola's 392.
But
I don't list everything either.
Wow.
I've maintained mine though. Like that's after like going through. So I can only imagine what it would be like now.
108.
I'm almost.
Oh my word.
I thought my 236 was a lot, but I'm very picky about what I put in my want to read. I mean, it literally has to be something I plan to read, not just something that sounds good.
Yeah, not me.
Yeah.
Somebody said it was good, so I put it there to remember it later.
Yep.
That makes
But you
sense.
clearly don't,
Yeah,
because
but-
you looked at it twice tonight. And you've already got them on there.
Yeah, the chat won for sure. Dang, you guys
But
are
what's okay? But
Okay,
what's
she's
your?
going to give us context. Hold on. I have 326 on my physical
But that was-
TBR, which is included. Okay, I also have to go through and clean it up. Yeah. Okay, so I don't own all of the books I might want to read.
No, me either.
I probably
No, I
only
don't
own
either.
about 50 or so of them. So,
See, I have shelves. One's TBR, in which I own. I own 24 of them so far. And then I have a TBR for my library, so that way when I go to the library, I can pull it up and know which book that they have.
That's a
So I
good
started doing
idea.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm
That's a great
definitely
idea.
trying to get library books more often this year, just for fun.
Well, I'm
Want to
learning
read
to
means
call
that
up my
sounds
library
interesting.
app. Instead of going to Goodreads for want to read, I go to my library and put it on hold. And then it shows up and says it's here to be borrowed. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's a good idea.
So,
I should already
oh my God.
It is, I can understand why it's a remembering list.
Yeah. That's what it's like for me too. It's a remembering list.
Yeah,
But I'm curious, what's your read books on there? On Goodreads.
On Goodreads. Okay, read books.
Read
well, I
books.
just started my Goodreads account last January because I didn't know about Goodreads.
Where have you been? All right. I've had my Goodreads account since 2007, but I also put books in my read shelf that I knew I had read. As I find them and go, oh, I read that, I'll add
Yeah.
them. So
Mhm.
mine is 920.
Yeah, I have. Wait, let me see. 135, and I started January of last year. So I have I read 122 last year, and then this year I've read however many.
So you haven't added any previously read books to yours at all?
No, because then I have to go in and figure out the dates I read them because I don't want them to count for this year.
Mhm.
And that's just
Too much trouble.
Yeah.
All right, Ashley.
I'm still working on that part.
Ashley reads a lot, so I imagine this is a high number too.
she reads a lot now and sleeps later.
Apparently, that was not the case for that last sprint because I was seriously like, I've had my account. Yeah, I think I've had my account since 2010, but I've read a total of 285 books on my Goodreads shelf.
Only 285?
Yeah.
That's good.
But that's
disappointed.
That's not all the books. Like I haven't gone through and done all of my books that I've read because in my childhood, there's some that I don't even remember.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lana's 252 and she started in 2020.
Mine was 2013.
Hans says 237.
Same Hans.
And then since 2013, I'm on 1171.
Yikes!
Nice.
But that's putting in everything I can remember that I've ever read.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a long time since a new book's shown up.
And Slack, so the numbers
somebody will mention a book and you go, "Oh, I've read that one." It's been a long time since I've had that happen.
Same thing here. I put them in and I just don't put dates, Brandy. So it's like I know, and if I don't remember if I liked it or not, I don't put a rating either. So I only put ratings for something that's like you'll see like older books that have no date on it. All are either 1 star or 5 star because I remember if I liked it or really liked it or really didn't like it.
Okay, so you have an option of not putting the date in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
What did I do? What was so funny? Yeah, I know 252 books in only a year and a bit.
It's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So before book 2, I would read about. My goal was always like 52 books, 1 book per week. And then the year before I started book 2, I read 70, which was like really good year for me. But I had started reading graphic novels too. So a lot of those were graphic novels. And then I started book 2 and I read 108 books last year.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did you say 108?
Yeah.
That's
really good. I know, Brandy, you said you read 120.
122. I read a lot of smaller romance novels in the beginning of the year last year, and I read a lot of things that Steve kind of made me read, but I ended up really liking some of them. It started out as kind of a joke, like, what am I going to read? Of course, I can't. But,
you're cutting out, Brandy. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, well, he talked me into reading. I can't really talk him into reading things. Yeah, I read a lot of his books that he wanted. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you. Lola, 263 books in 1 year. I think that's amazing. But I just don't know how you do it. I mean, that's almost a book a day. Do you actually read a book a day?
Depends on the book.
In 2016, I read 4 books.
What's the longest book that you read last year, Ashley?
878 pages.
That's a good size book. No, 800. That's a 900-page book. That was a good size book.
I guess because I always think about Stephen King's novels where it's like 1,000. Now, I think our Priory of Orange Tree was up
last
there.
year at 1,152.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think mine was 11/22/63. That was the longest book I read last year.
Well, that one's like 950.
Yeah, I think. You can look that up?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I know you can. I'm just trying to. How do you do it? Oh, here it is.
I'm on my PC, so I don't know. Well, laptop. Should give you your longest and your shortest.
Insomnia was the longest one I read last year. It's 912 pages.
Wow.
Oh, is it? That's like in your review of your year in books or whatever?
Yeah.
No way. This says the longest book I read was Freed by E.L. James. 50 Shades. That was a 900-page book, it says.
Good.
You're so good.
Okay.
You didn't even notice.
No, it was awful. I gave it, well, it wasn't awful, but I gave it 2 stars, which means, it was okay.
It was pretty much not great.
Hate it. I didn't really like it that much, but 900 pages? That's book 3. And it's 50 Shades of Grey told in Christian's perspective. I don't know why I did that. I mean, it was all right. I didn't realize that book was that long. It did take me a long time to get through.
Hey,
50, yeah, you know why.
50 books a year, Hans, is really good. Especially if you have other hobbies.
It did take me almost a month.
Yeah.
I think the longest book I read last year was Priory of the Orange Tree.
Okay. See,
I never finished that book. I DNF'd it.
Which one?
Priory of the Orange Tree.
Okay. So Sleep in a Sea of Stars was the last year, is the one that I read that was the longest. The year before that was Priory of the Orange Tree. Sleep in a Sea of Stars.
You like to Sleep in a Sea of Stars because I heard a lot of people didn't like it.
I loved it. But I've read his book since he was a 14-year-old prodigy, or even before that. So,
wow.
Yeah, I liked Aragon. I even liked Eldest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I didn't read anymore. Stopped.
I don't remember the last one.
I don't even know why. Lana, what was it? 742 pages. What was the book? Hans, my longest book was It. Yeah.
That one will.
Oh, that's my reading achievement, reading it in one day.
Read it in one day? How did you do that?
I was grounded. I was 16. And I woke up in the morning and I was shitty and I just hid in my room all day reading. Yeah. That's like my monumental reading achievement, is to read that in one day.
That is monumental.
It is such a good book, though.
It really is.
Until the last 10%.
I quite liked the ending of it. Even though it's heartbreaking.
Lana, I have no life hobbies. Well, you have us as friends. Maybe we're not in real life. Kind of, sort of.
Well, I'm in real life.
I'm a simulation. I don't know about you guys.
Oh, you're an NPC.
I am an NPC.
When I was sick, I was watching TV a little because Steve read a lot when we were sick, but I was finding it really hard to focus. And so I started watching Downton Abbey again, or I watched TV, but I don't like watching TV as much anymore. I felt like I wanted to be reading. It's frustrating.
Yeah. I can't read when I'm sick either. Hans, in 2020, the Stormlight Archive, the third book was my longest read, was in 2020, and then in 2019 was Words of Radiance. So I didn't read any Stormlight Archive last year, that'd be my longest as well. Those things are, it's like he had a goal to make each book a little bit longer than the prior book in the series, because each one is slightly longer.
Isn't that like a rule when there's a series? Each one must be longer than the one before?
It must be a rule. It must be. Book was On the Shoulder of Titans, Arcanus. Why does that sound familiar? Is that that sounds familiar? I don't know why, but I must have seen it. It's probably my Goodreads one to read. I read A Court of Silver Flame for one weekend.
Oh, that's on my. That may happen in February for me.
I still have to read the third book in February. I have it on my TBR. That's the way I love that. Did I skip her?
No, it's to when she said she likes like maybe 3 people in her life.
Oh.
I'm sure. I like coffee and maybe 3 people. Oh yeah, Han, I did get COVID. Yes, my whole family got. The kids, like my son, had it for like 2 days. My daughter had it for a couple weeks, but not as bad, and I had it pretty bad for a couple weeks. Steve is still coughing. It's been a month.
Really?
Like taking forever to get over it.
Sorry, I wasn't laughing at Steve coughing. I was laughing at role-playing game in a book setting is funny.
Now I feel bad for him. He's taking forever.
I'm going to tell you what, reading Nightfall with 101 fever, it's a bad idea.
You'd have been tripping, wouldn't you?
I had fever. I had some weird fever dreams, and I had to read it during the day, but even then I had to stop because I was like, what? Is this real life?
Okay, Lana, I know what it is. I have the first book, and I still haven't read it. My husband did, though, and he liked it. I feel like it's a breath of fresh air when the last book is shorter. That's what I liked about the Sand and Ash and Sands trilogy, because the King of Heaven was like significantly shorter compared to the second book. And then you get to Dead Sea's End, and I was like, I need more. You can't write a 200-something page fantasy novel. That doesn't work.
I liked it. I thought it was perfect for what he was trying to do.
Yeah, I think everybody's gonna get COVID now.
Yeah,
I don't think
I tested negative, but I could have sworn. I could have sworn. I'm telling you, 100%. I woke up in the middle of the night and I couldn't breathe. I swear it was COVID, but I took the rapid test and the PVC pipe test. They were both negative.
Did you say PVC pipe test?
Yeah, that's what I call it.
Steve tested negative he just did like 2 tests and he was negative. But
just because you're negative for COVID doesn't mean you're negative for flu.
Right, but
or any other cold.
Well, I was, and
he had it. His 3rd test came back positive because he had to take one in order to go back to work, and it was not. So,
yeah, my sister-in-law tested. She tested negative, and then she went today to get tested again to go to work, so she can go back to work on Monday because she works for school, and it was positive.
Mm-hmm. I know that's happening to a lot of people. That happened to me. Some of the people we got it from, that happened to. So,
it's a shame.
Well, I'm gonna keep praying that my family doesn't get it, but that's only gonna last so long. So
living as a habitual hermit has meant that I'm perfectly fine.
I'll send you I'll send you some of my crafting material, and you can just stay holed up in y'all's houses.
There you go. You put us to work.
Sorted.
Yep. Yep.
All right, y'all. I'm starting to drop off.
I'm good.
Me too.
Yeah.
I got
Yeah.
down. This was fun, guys.
Yes.
really
I'm
is.
sorry I'm not as full as energy as I usually am, but
Yeah.
it's 3 in the
We're all
morning.
tired.
Jeez.
I'll be better
Holy
next month
God.
because this was a crazy week.
Well, thank you, Brandy, for coming on, even though you've probably been up for almost 24 hours now.
Well, thank you guys for moving it a day for me. Thank you.
Of course.
No problem.
Yes.
Any day. Any day.
All right. Well,
sorry, I'm reading a comment. Hans says, hold on, let me just share this with
sorry.
if that works, Hans, you've got magic powers. All right, good night, everybody. I'm so glad that you could join us today. Don't forget to update us in Discord how you're enjoying the book, how you're reading, and we'll see you guys next month. And Ashley will be hosting our next 24-hour readathon.
I should be figuring out
tuned.
the dates within the next week.
All right. You guys can find that information out on our Discord, which is in the link is in the description below. Hopefully it still works. I may need to update that link. So if it doesn't work, send me a note in the comments and I will update that link. All right. You guys have a great night. See you later.
Good night.
Bye.
Bye.